I, Gideon Hanoomansingh, having been elected a Member of Parliament, do swear by Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Trinidad and Tobago, will uphold the Constitution and the law, and will conscientiously and impartially discharge the responsibilities of the people of Trinidad and Tobago upon which I'm about to enter.
Gideon Hanoomansingh received thunderous applause last night when he was presented by opposition leader Basdev Pandey as the UNC candidate.
Yes, it was 1994 and the parliamentary term had about 1 year to go, and the incumbent had died and we wanted that seat very badly. So we were looking around for a candidate, and we thought that someone recommended Mr. Hanoomansingh, and we thought that he would fit the bill, he being a person who was known, that we wouldn't have to introduce some new person onto the political scene, but that rather he was in the media, he had several programs on TV, his name was well known.
One of the CNN executives came and said to me, "Would you like to work with us?" I said, by all means, this will be a wonderful opportunity. I guess it will be the opportunity every journalist is hoping will come his or her way.
And I thought here was an opportunity for Gideon to go beyond the boundaries of Trinidad and Tobago.
And then he said to me, "How would you like to go to Haiti?" And I said, "No, I don't speak the language," and it was in those days a very troubled hot spot. I came home, and at the time the deaths of two parliamentarians had taken place within short space of time, the first of whom was Cyril Rajaram, who represented the People's National Movement in the constituency of Pointe-a-Pierre. So I called Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, who then was the whip in the opposition, to find out what was the UNC doing with respect to the election, so that I could plan the coverage on behalf of AVM television, where I was working at the time. And to my great surprise, he said, "Where have you been? We've been trying to locate you." And I asked, "For what?" And he said, "We want you to be the candidate." I said, "For what?" And he said, "For the constituency of Pointe-a-Pierre." And I said, "No."
He came to me. He said he needed to talk to me to get my opinion.
And Han said to me, "By all means, go, but don't give them a commitment."
And I suggested that he should have pursued an international career in broadcasting, as opposed to getting elected to Parliament, especially in the opposition.
I went and I spoke with Ramesh, and he repeated the same things about "you will win, we will win the seat, and then government," and so on, so on, so on. "This will be your greatest opportunity to serve in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago." And I thought that was the attraction, serving in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. And shortly after our discussion, walked in Mr. Pandey.
He was introduced, and I met him and talked to him, asked him if he was ready, because we were in a hurry actually, asking if he was ready to fight. I think he dithered a bit.
Mr. Pandey said to me, "Let us make a long story short. Yes or no." But before he ended, he said, "Understand one thing, opportunities knock once. Yes or no?" And I said yes.
We caught up with the UNC candidate, Gideon Hanoomansingh, on the road. He was visiting constituents at the time. He says the response has been very good and is also confident of victory.
When people ask, who is going to be the candidate for that? I said, don't you worry. When we announce this candidate, it will be a bomb. It will be like an intercontinental ballistic missile. And that is part of the propaganda, I remember.
I am not too sure that my sisters were happy with my decision to run for politics. And again, I think this would have been influenced by the thoughts of Hans.
Mr. Pandey was successful in persuading Gideon to be a candidate for the elections. But my reason was an interest in what I thought would be a career opportunity that was presenting itself globally.
I wanted to go into the Parliament and to be there as a contributor to the debates and so on. I'd been in the House of Representatives covering what took place there, and always considered this place to be an august chamber. This was a sacred place.
MP for Point-a-Pear Gideon Hanoomansingh made his maiden speech today. He questioned whether economic sanctions were at all successful.
And this, Madam Speaker, raises to my mind the need for a full ventilation of government's policy towards the imposition of sanctions on countries here in the Caribbean in the 1990s. The point of importance is whether Trinidad and Tobago has a consistent, informed foreign policy posture on economic sanctions in the region. Court awards, Mr. Deputy Speaker, for child maintenance are ridiculous. Really, the amount, I'm talking about the amount, rather ridiculous. We see reports of $40 per week and $50 per week in instances, and when you consider that a child's needs would be far superior.
It certainly was challenging, but once you accept the responsibility, you've got to do as much as you possibly can.
It was a period when in the opposition there were many issues, and what appeared to have been very attractive to Gideon, an opportunity to serve the people. He was, like I was before him, frustrated by the political life of in particular, opposition politics.
We plan to establish medical clinics in the constituency. We plan to introduce the fund aid concept so that young people can be the beneficiaries of loans to open and establish small businesses to allow them to be self-sufficient. So when we consider all of these things, we are not in the government, we are in the opposition. When we raise these issues in the Parliament, we hear from the minister responsible for public utilities that they do not have money. Well, then the solution is to get out of the government.
It was not, for me, a very active period in terms of contributing to debates and so on in the Parliament. But I sat there and I looked at others very carefully, and the language used one to the other was sometimes so disconcerting, and asked myself, what am I doing in this place? What am I doing here?
And he thought that at that stage that he would return to full-time broadcasting.
After 17 months of an experience in the Parliament, discomfort with the behavior of people, unable at times to fulfill the needs of the constituents and so on, I'd said to Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj that I was not interested in running further. I want to say that serving in the Parliament of one's country is a great honor. How you conduct yourself is important, because the eyes of the country are upon you. Not surrendering to the debates, but certainly doing it in such a way that it will be meaningful and purposeful for all the constituents, for the people of the country, and the Trinbagonians who reside in different parts of the world.